Hi guys, want to see a magic trick? I can make my dog appear. Victoria jumped up on the bed, decided she wanted to be in here, but she does not want to be on camera right now. So she's currently hiding behind me. I am here to do the Never Have I Ever yarn version. I was tagged by my friend Shannon from Shannon Talks Yarn. I'll leave her tag down below. Be sure to check her out. She's got some great thoughts. She has a beautiful keyhole scarf that she's working on that if I didn't live in Florida, then I would happily make that. However, it's way too hot. It's been in the hundreds recently, so I'm not thinking about making a scarf right now. But if you live somewhere where it's cooler, she's got a great scarf pattern for you. All right, let's get going on these 30 questions about me and my crochet life. Have I ever crocheted in public? That is an absolute yes. Doctor's offices. I've even crocheted at like restaurants when I'm like, this wait is too long. Let me go get my crochet bag that I take everywhere. Have I ever crocheted in a car? Absolutely. My husband and I took a short trip to Daytona Beach this end of the week, Thursday, Friday, to celebrate his birthday. And Shirley crocheted right on in the car as we drove there and as we drove back. So that was exciting, lots of fun. Have I ever crocheted outside? Absolutely. I live in Florida, so we spend a lot of time outside. We actually have a patio set up underneath like carport area. And so we sit out there to listen to music sometimes, and I'll take my crochet out there and entertain the goat and the dog and the cats and just hang out with my husband. That's a good time. Have ever crocheted at work? Never like when I'm on the clock or anything like that, but I crochet basically every day on my lunch break. I'll just go sit out in my car and eat my lunch and crochet and just hang out. Have I ever sold my crochet? Yes. I have sold them for people to use for Christmas gifts. I made some hats that like were I'm not very good at doing hats like in the round where you crochet and start with this magic circle and then crochet around and gets bigger and bigger. I'm not very good at that, but I can do where you make a rectangle and then you fold it and you seam it up and then cinch it at the top and put like a puff on top. Pretty good at those. So I made one for a gift for someone, and then they asked me to make a couple for them to give as Christmas gifts. So I have done that. I didn't charge very much, just like $10 because I'd gotten the puffs. I'd gotten like 15 of them in a Michael's grab bag, like the $4 bag. So it didn't cost me very much to make it. So I didn't sell it for very much. Have I ever given crochet as a gift? Absolutely. I give away a lot of the stuff I make because I make it because I enjoy crocheting. It's therapeutic for me. But there's only so much I can keep. So I give a lot away. Definitely one year I gave scarves that I arm knitted for Christmas. And then last year I actually made rags and then bought some handmade soap from a vendor in a cafe near where I live, and gave those as Christmas gifts. It was very affordable. I just got cotton yarn from Dollar Tree and made up some coordinating rags and put the hand soap with it, the handmade soap, and they were beautiful. I enjoyed them. I would have enjoyed receiving it. So that was nice. Have ever received crochet as a gift? I would say not in my adult life. As a child, I remember a purple poncho that had white and black trim on it that I remember having as a kid. Believe my Aunt Barbara gave it to me. So if you're watching, Aunt Barbara, I love you. But I didn't wear it all that much. I wore it mostly around the house just to cuddle in. But we didn't wear it out much because it's Florida, so it's not really like it's kind of hot around here all the time. So, but anyway, have I ever hoarded yarn because it is on sale? Um, Kind of. I don't like to have a lot of yarn. Right now, my husband and my mother would disagree. They would say that I have a lot of yarn, and I kind of do. But I like to try to keep my stash smaller because having too much yarn kind of stresses me. Because I feel like it's like weighing in the back of my mind, like you have yarn, yarn. Why are you buying more? And so I'm like, I feel like I can't give myself permission to buy more until I use what I have. So I hoard to a degree. So like if I go to Ollie's and I see a great deal, then, I'll get it. I'll stock up on it, even if I don't necessarily have a project right then. But most of the time, when I'm buying a yarn, I think about what I want to make with it before I buy it. So I kind of hoard, but then kind of don't at the same time. Have I ever spun my own yarn? No. I don't really right now have the space for that, and I don't really have the desire to spend the money on equipment that you would need to do that. And I don't have a place to get wool to make into yarn. So no, never spun my own yarn. I'm not sure if I ever will. That is a creative process that I don't really have a desire to learn. Like painting is a creative process that I don't have that skill for. And I feel like spinning yarn isn't a skill I have. I mean, I could learn it, but I don't really want to, I guess. Have I ever spent hours looking at patterns? I mean, who hasn't, right? I mean, you get a yarn you love and you look for the perfect pattern for that yarn. So yeah, my Pinterest board is full of patterns, and I go back through and I scroll through and I look at them to see if any of them call out to me with any of the yarns that I've recently purchased. So yes, I have spent hours looking at patterns. I admit it. Have I ever stayed up all night to crochet? I have actually, but it was never to like meet a deadline or anything like that. It was just I can't sleep. My husband's laying next to me, snoozing away, and I just can't get comfortable. Or maybe I've got a project that I'm almost finished with it, and it's just like I just want to get it done because I'm excited to see the finished project. So I have crocheted all night doing that, but never like under pressure or anything like that, just because I wanted to. Let's see. Next question. Have you ever canceled plans to crochet instead? Absolutely not. I've never canceled plans because I need to crochet. However, if plans get canceled, I'll be happy to crochet instead, but never cancel with the explicit idea to crochet instead. Have you ever taken on a huge project? I wouldn't say like some people think that like blankets are a huge project, and they can be, but I enjoy making blankets, so I've never taken on a huge project that's like several pieces. I mean, like these blankets here that you piece together, yes, but nothing like that's like a hat and a shawl and a scarf and booties, like nothing like that that's like overwhelming. So I would say no, not really. Have you ever gotten bored with a project? Absolutely. I just talked about when I talked about my yarn empties, a shawl that I was working on that I was kind of bored with the stitch, but I did get it finished on that car ride with my husband on the way to Daytona Beach. I finished up that scarf. On the way back, I was working on this argyle so I could finish it up. I finally finished the argyle blanket, totally done. I finished up the border probably 30 minutes ago. I was determined to get that one finished so it could be off of my list of works in works in progress. Have I ever skipped work to crochet? No. I am too responsible for that. I would feel so guilty if I called out of work, period. Unless it's an emergency, I'm going to be there when I'm supposed to be there. I know the people I work with are depending on me. I've been a teacher for 16 years before the job I have now, and you can't just skip work. Your kids are depending on you. The other teachers around you are depending on you, so they don't have to pick up your slack when you're not there. So I've never skipped work to crochet. I rarely miss work anyway. Now it's summertime, and I work at the deli at the new Publix where I am, and just want to learn something new. I think I'm going to take a little bit of time to do that because working at Publix, after you've worked there for a year, you can buy stock, and their stock is really good. So that's my goal right now. So I'm taking a pause from teaching, enjoying doing YouTube and working in deli instead. But I would never skip work to crochet. I'd never skip work, period. Anyway, next question. Have I ever had a project ruined by a pet? Yes, I have. This little girl right here, who is the sweetest thing ever. When she was a puppy, she chewed on a couple of our blankets. One of them is a camouflage blanket that I made for my husband that now is like, it's like ruined, like it's beyond repair. But the other one is my scrap blanket that I talk about in one of my blanket tours, that I was actually able to patch it up. So I was grateful for that. And some of it I actually unraveled and re-crocheted to work up fixing the hole where she'd made. But yes, have had things ruined by a pet. Had I have ever had a project ruined by a child? No. I don't have any children. My husband has children from past relationship. I love them to death. I don't have any personal ones. We were foster parents for a while, for about 6 years. And I did crochet some when we had foster kids, but I kind of didn't crochet as much as I usually do because life is busy with kids. So, um, but no, none of them have ever ruined a project or anything. Nothing. I mean, it's just crochet. I can repair it, usually, or frog it and do it again. So, but anyway, have I ever crocheted something wearable? Yeah, that right there is actually a shawl, the very first one I've ever made. That's for Granny Pat, and I've crocheted scarves, hats, headbands. Again, I don't do those often just because it's not cold very often here. And yeah, I just get too hot wearing a hat or a headband. I went kayaking one time with my best friend Shanice and wore a crocheted headband that I had made because it was a little cool. But man, after about an hour, I was regretting it because my head was hot. But anyway, have I ever crocheted toys or amigurumi? Absolutely. I've only crocheted one amigurumi toy. I crocheted it for my cousin Jennifer. I was gonna say her little baby, but she just turned 4. Oh, I can't believe that. Just turned 4. But her name is Charlie Rose, and when she was about 2, I made a little tiny monkey for her that's holding a banana, and he has a green bow tie. He's pretty cute, and I didn't have any safety eyes. That was like my very first attempt at doing any kind of stuffed animal, so I just did a like a knot that you use in like cross stitching, and because I learned to cross stitch when I was young, and so that was the best method I knew to. It was kind of like embroidery, I guess. Put a couple little black spots for eyes, but so it's not like the cutest monkey, but she plays with it, she enjoys it. So um, I didn't really enjoy amigurumi. You have to make it so small and tight, and my hands are hurting, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this. And then like the proportions of trying to get the arms and the legs on correctly. I don't know. I might do some more. I don't know. I have to think about it. Have I ever bartered with my crochet? I've not approached someone to say, "Hey, I'll crochet you something in exchange for this or that." However, I have been approached. When I was in college, I worked at a state park here called Fort Clinch State Park. It's a Civil War fort with beach access and camping, and it's really beautiful. But there was a reenactor that worked in the fort, volunteered in the fort. He came to me. He's like, "Hey, can you make me some socks to go with my reenacting?" Because he's reenacting, so he can't go like to Walmart and grab some socks. I mean, he could, but like he wanted to have more authentic looking socks. And he's like, "I'll give you this silverware and bowl." It was a wooden bowl and some like silverware with like an antler on the handle that he had made in exchange. So I was like, yeah, sure. So he went ahead and gave me his items, and unfortunately, I was not able to finish the socks before my time there ended, before I graduated college. And I tried to get back and get them to him, but I just kept missing him, and I felt so bad. So I still feel bad about that, but he's a cool guy. He was fine with it, and he was excited to give me the beautiful things that he'd created. So that was nice. Have I ever made crochet items to donate? No, not specifically to donate. I've never like donated the things I've made. I give them away to people. But as far as like, the Linus project or things like that, I've never like specifically said, okay, this project, this charity is doing this project at this time, I'm going to make a hat or a blanket to donate for that. That is something that I do want to look into, something to do with the things that I create. So I can just kind of know that they're going to someplace good to help people. So that's on my list of things to do. Have I ever had more than 5 whips at a time? Yeah. Right now, I sure do. I actually have the argyle pieces that I made to help practice for the tutorial that I did for that. I'm gonna put those together into a blanket because I just have like squares that I made to practice. So I'm gonna make those into a blanket. I have a blanket that I made for my mom. Actually, my very first video, that Ollie's haul, the blanket that started it all. I needed more yarn to finish that blanket. Um, didn't end up finding it. Had to get a different yarn altogether. But either way, the blanket started getting narrower and narrower, so I needed to take it out. So in the process of frogging that and redoing that, then I have a baby blanket from my cousin, whose wife is having a baby boy. I just need to put the border on it, so I need to work on that. I have a blue blanket that has some mosaic in the middle of it that I was just inspired by a picture I saw. So I was working on that. And then I have my color pooling using primary stripes that I need to get more yarn for. So I have that. And I have one other one that's a camo blanket that I started a very long time ago. Actually, my son requested it a long time ago. And I started it and I've been working on it. It's a continuous granny square. But the last time I worked on it was a year ago, when we were on the road to Alabama to bury my dad. And I made a mistake on it on the way back. And I just kind of was like not in a good place when I was working on it. And so I just don't want to pull it out right now. So yes, I've had more than 5 whips going at a time. Have I ever received yarn for a holiday or a birthday? Absolutely. Yes, I have. My mom, it's about 3 years ago now, bought me the yarn actually that I made this out of. It's Red Heart Super Saver. It was in the big, giant, I don't think it's a pound, but like the jumbo, I think it's a yarn. She actually bought 2 of each color. So this is this teal color, and then there's a navy blue and a purple. It's a royal blue and purple. So I actually have one jumbo ball of each color left still. So I'm going to make another blanket with those at some point. So let me see. Have I ever unraveled one project to start another? Absolutely. Not to like, oh, I'm working on this, let me take it out and then pull out this separate project and start working on that one. But like if I've got a yarn and I'm going on it and I don't like the way the pattern's going, like I don't like this for this yarn, definitely will unravel it and start another project with that yarn into a pattern that I like better. Let's see. Have I ever designed a crochet pattern? No. Well, actually, I mean, I've kind of like free free flow or what, just kind of go along with whatever is striking my fancy as I'm creating a blanket. Like, oh, let me do a few stitches of this and a few stitches of that kind of thing. But I've never like designed with like specifically, oh, I want it to look like this and this is how I'm going to accomplish that. And I'm going to use this specific yarn and this specific hook and blah, blah, blah. I haven't done any of that. That's a lot of work. And I highly admire the people who do design. It's just not for me. It's just not my jam. So I've never like officially designed anything, but just kind of like made up my own design as I've got along. Let's see. Have I ever published a crochet pattern? No, I don't plan to. Like I said, it's a lot of work. It's a lot more of detail oriented things that it's too tedious for me. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to. So no. Have I ever worked with a crochet thread? No, I like chunky yarn. So thread would be, I mean, like torture, I guess. No, too small. The projects, like I like to make blankets, so I don't have any project that I would want to make with thread. So as of right now, I have not worked with thread. I don't have a desire to. That may change in the future, but we'll see. Have I ever taught 1 to 5 people to crochet? Yes, I have. I have a friend of mine, good friends that I've known for a very long time. Their daughter is 10. Her name's Maylee. Hi, Maylee, if you're watching. Hello to her brothers as well. She is very smart, picks up on new skills very quickly, enjoys learning new things, and she started finger knitting. And I reached out to her mom because her mom posts on Facebook and stuff. And I was like, "Hey, if she ever wants to learn crochet, just let me know, and we'll get together." And so we do. And she last time we were together practiced some half double crochets and then practiced doing granny stitches. So she was excited to learn that new stitch, and she's doing great. Oh, hi, Viviola. Hi, Kitty. Welcome. And then also my cousin Jennifer, the one with the baby named Charlie Rose. She had an interest in crocheting a couple years ago, about 3 years ago, when Charlie was still very little. But Charlie being so young, it was just a lot on her, and she couldn't take the time to learn to crochet then. But she recently, after watching my color pulling video, was very inspired. So she dug out her old crochet stuff and put it in super slow motion and started crocheting. So she is doing a great job. Sent some pictures of a blanket that she made, and it's beautiful. She used some Karen cakes. So I did not directly teach her how to crochet with like lessons. However, through my YouTube channel, she was able to pick up some skills and make herself a blanket. So I count that as a yes. I have taught her as well. The next question, have you taught 5 or more people to crochet? Jennifer and Maylee are the only two that I can like off the top of my head think of that I have taught to crochet. I used to teach a gifted class at one of the schools I worked at, and those children wanted to learn how to knit. So I have taught 5 or more people how to knit. I only can basic knit, very basic. I can show you how to make a scarf. That is it. But at that point, the children were very new as well, and making a scarf with knit was perfect for them. So I haven't taught 5 or more people to crochet, but I have taught 5 or more people to knit. Have I ever dyed my own yarn? No. That's another skill that I don't plan on attempting. I see people posting their dyed yarns online, and I am always just amazed at how beautiful they are. I know I don't have that skill, and that's okay. I know my limits. I would much rather, I'm going to quote Shannon from Shannon Talks Yarn on this. I would much rather buy a yarn from someone who has skill than make an ugly yarn that I know that I would make. Anyway, those are 30 things of Never Have I Ever Yarn Edition. So I'm going to tag a couple of my yarn YouTube people here. I'm going to tag Unapologetically Mocha Crochet and Crafts. I just recently found her channel, and I want to hear her answers to this. And I'm going to tag Dee's Creative Hands. She just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, so congratulations, Dee. She gave me a shout out on her community page when I was just starting, and she and I did Yarn Hookers together. So I kind of feel a special place in my heart for Dee, and so I'd like to see what she has to say about her Never Have I Ever's. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned.